Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Friday, and this is the Wrestling Wrap-Up, a handful of news brought to you in one easy-to-watch video. As far as today's stories do go, we're going to talk about a number of WWE injuries, a title hold being put on hold because of an injury, some draft news, details on AEW collisions, CM Punk, Commander, Naomi, and so much more, because again, this is the Wrestling Wrap-Up. Every Monday and Friday morning, roughly between 11 and 11:30 a.m. Pacific, we bring you all the latest news in the world of professional wrestling. We try to curate it all throughout the week, and then boom, kind of bookend the week with some news that you may have missed. You can watch this show a myriad of different ways, whether that is live or later. You can watch live on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. You can watch live or later on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or listen later on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out by heading over to YouTube and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access non-news videos, and so much more. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're getting a new game like Dead Island 2 that I believe came out today, like Star Wars Jedi Survivor that comes out in a week, or Crime Boss Rockay City, use this code right here, PW Unlimited. Heck, you trying to get in to Disney Speedstorm, which is a kart racer game better than Mario Kart? Well, it's in early access right now on the Epic Game Store, and it's only $30. Get in there, play Disney Speedstorm. I've been playing the goddamn crap out of it. I'm in love with this game. I love Disney Speedstorm. And do what I did. Well, actually, don't do what I did. I bought it on the PlayStation because that means that it'd be easier for me to play with the kids. But you go buy it on the Epic Game Store and use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout. You'll be supporting us at no extra cost and getting yourself a really good game, aka Disney Speedstorm. Disney Speedstorm is great. I'm not sponsored, but I could be. Sponsor me, Disney Speedstorm, and I'll do a shit ton of Disney Speedstorm streams. And I'll play as Mickey Mouse. I'll play as Donald Duck. I'll play as Goofy, Mulan, Mike Wazowski, Sully, Celia. Come on. I got that googly bear license plate on my Mike Wazowski cart. Let's get her done. Also, remember, you can get bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or claim the free games. Right now, the free games are Beyond Blue and Never Alone. Just put in the code PW Unlimited, PWUNLIMITED at checkout, and you'll be supporting us at no extra cost. I can't talk highly enough about Disney Speedstorm. I know this ain't a video game podcast, this ain't a Disney podcast, but boy, is Disney Speedstorm fun. And as I said on my stream last night, I think I'm having more fun with Disney Speedstorm. Now, regardless, there's some kind of like battle pass tropes that are keeping you from being able to complete all the content right now, but other than that, like in the races and the challenges that you do, I like that better than Mario Kart, because Mario Kart's just go out there, race, win. But Disney Speedstorm is go out there, race, win. But here are conditions on if you do this and win, you get extra bonus points, you get extra XP, you get extra cash, you get extra this, you get extra that. So there we go. Fonzie, I already fixed it. Maybe you just need to click refresh or something. Or maybe it should have refreshed. Fonzie. Double check it. I fixed that already. I missed the E in AEW, if that's what you're talking about. But we're not talking about AEW right now. First off, we're going to talk about WWE. Oh, also, remember, you can get this. I already talked about that. Show on podcast platforms all around the globe. The first story we're going to talk about is WWE, and how WWE has quite a few injuries right now. There are many injured WWE superstars, as Dave Meltzer did write about this in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, as Meltzer stated. Drew McIntyre, that is, won't be in action at least in the next few weeks, and there is nothing else new right now on his situation. He was also not advertised for the 7/7 SmackDown taping in Madison Square Garden, nor was Reigns. His contract has months to go, and there's been no change in the situation past the sides were far apart on money. There's also an unusually high amount of injuries and medical absences right now in WWE, mostly in developmental, where about a dozen people are out of action in that system. Among those out for various reasons in NXT and the Performance Center are Mary Miller, Ariana Grace, Nikita Lyons, Roderick Strong, Sangha, Blair Davenport, Ulisa Lyon, and several others. The key main roster people who are dealing with health issues and are out with injury right now are Big E, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Ronda Rousey, Kofi Kingston, Robert Roode, Tommaso Ciampa, AJ Styles, Aaliyah, Drew McIntyre, Johnny Gargano, and Carmella. Speaking of Johnny Gargano has had a shoulder tear that he's been working on for a while. He did the match with Grayson Waller at Stand and Deliver, basically with one arm. The mobility in the shoulder got really bad over the last month, which is why he hasn't been at Raw the past 2 weeks. He's trying to rehab it and avoid surgery. The shoulder had made good improvements, and in a trivia note, Gargano has been wrestling for 20 years, and in that time, he's had, quote, 0 surgeries. So that's good to hear that Johnny's body is good at healing itself, I guess you can say. So there are a number of people out with injury, and they're not talking about either. No one's saying anything. So we know Big E's situation with the broken neck. He actually just recently talked about it on a podcast, saying that he did the 1-year scans that the doctors were waiting on, and that got a little delayed because of Mania, and he went out to LA for Mania, and now they're just waiting on the doctor to look over the scans and discuss them with him. There's a lot of people we don't know anything. We know Ciampa's dealing with a hip injury. Rude had some sort of neck surgery. Kofi broke his ankle. Ronda's dealing with a arm elbow issue. Randy Orton's got a back injury. Bray Wyatt, they say he's sick, out with an illness. Aaliyah, can't remember exactly what her thing is. And then Carmella's another one, or AJ Styles' ankle. And Carmella's another one that just all of a sudden stopped working. She was gonna team with, she was basically Chelsea Green's new tag team partner, and they were going to go and probably be in the Women's Showcase together instead of Sonya Deville. And then all of a sudden, Carmella just disappeared 1 week. Just gone. Then she shows back up Mania week at the Hall of Fame and doing the set reveal with Corey Graves and all that. And it's like, Now we learned Carmella's dealing with an injury. So that's very interesting. But speaking of injuries, as we move into our next news story, seems as if one injury that we just kind of hit on actually keeping a title change from happening, or a planned title change from happening. Dave Meltzer did write in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter. The Rousey and Baylor chase for the women's tag team titles is currently on hold because Rousey is still out of action with her broken forearm. She did the WrestleMania match because it was, well, WrestleMania in Los Angeles, but was clearly not ready and still isn't ready to return. It was noted to us that her mentality regarding the injury was basically, fuck it. She's doing WrestleMania no matter what. Basically, because of her mentality from both herself and her mom regarding competing in real sports while injured. Trust me, we've heard all the stories of Ronda's got a messed up knee, but her mom was still making her go out there and train on that knee every single day. So the plan is eventually for Ronda and Shayna to have those women's tag titles, but as of right now, they can't do it. And so now that brings up the question of, were Ronda and Shayna the ones to beat Trish and Becky instead of Raquel and Liv? I wouldn't have liked that for Ronda. For Raquel and Liv, it's whatever. No offense. But I wouldn't have liked that for Ronda and Shayna. I would have wanted them to have a more decisive win and not be like, oh, well, they're just part of a storyline for somebody else, and that's why the title change happened. That's what it looks like for Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, that they only won the titles because it was progressing somebody else's storyline. They got lucky, so we'll see where it goes. As we move forward, we've been talking over the last week about WWE superstars returning to Twitch. Fightful was the first to break this story, and Dave Meltzer wrote a little more about it in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, as Dave Meltzer did write the following. Fightful reported that WWE and Twitch have reached a deal that will allow talent to broadcast again on the platform with almost no restrictions. Basically, the only restriction is they would need permission from WWE to have non-WWE performers on their Twitch stream. This was behind Vega returning to Twitch last week using her WWE name, which showed that it was company approved. It was said that revenue guaranteed would be split 50. Would be split between Twitch, which would take 50% off the top, and WWE and the performer. Now, it was noted by, I want to say, Andrew Zarian, that WWE's cut is actually coming from Twitch's 50%, not the talent's 50%. 50% is more than a lot make on Twitch. A lot make only 30%. Vega, being on, confirms that the deal was made, and another talent said that they were told 2 weeks ago people could go on Twitch effective immediately, and that they could get their own channels and keep them even if they leave WWE. No actual announcement has been made to talent, although one may be one may be done soon. But the ones like Vega and Woods and others were told about the new deal. WWE negotiated a deal for Twitch, which is very beneficial to the talent. Normally, content creators on Twitch split 50-50 on revenue. Not quite. And the new deal gives WWE talent a slightly greater than 50% split. And WWE also gets a cut which comes from the other side, not the talent side. Basically, the deal removes any financial bonuses of some talent that makes money off Twitch to go to AEW, with the idea that they can continue to make money or keep a higher percentage of money leaving. But there was a lot of talent just learning this week, while a few others found out that they could a few weeks ago. So we've been seeing Zelina Vega on Twitch. Woods did one stream. Mia Yim has been doing some streams. I know you're going to go, well, what about Top Dollar? Top Dollar's been streaming ever since he came back to WWE. He never stopped. So I don't know if maybe his new deal, he was like, hey, I want to still be able to stream. Because this man always playing some FIFA. I take it back. It's not going to be FIFA going forward. It's EAFC. But Top Dollar AJ Francis, always on Twitch playing FIFA. So good to see that these wrestlers can now return to Twitch, and that it's not like, oh, they can return to Twitch, but they're not making any extra money off of it. No, they're still going to get paid. They're going to get paid pretty well. And I know when WWE first cut out the Twitch stuff, some of the talent have reportedly said, hey, we'll do it even if we're not making a lot of money. We just want to do it for our mental health and give us something to do while we're at home. But now we got to see how many really take this up. Because if we look at how many WWE wrestlers were actually streaming on Twitch before, I actually have a list of this on our website, pwunlimited.co, under the resources tab. We go here and we look at WWE wrestlers who were streaming on Twitch before everything went down. Xavier Woods, AJ Styles, Zelina Vega, Drew Gulak, Dio Madden, Mace, Kota Kai, and Mike Rome were all streaming pretty regularly on Twitch. There were others as too, like Johnny Gargano. Even after I started this list, I think Gargano started after I made this list, but there are a number. Mia Yim as well, so we'll see where it all leads to and who actually rejoins Twitch and who jumps back on and so forth. But as we move forward, we'll talk about the draft. Because apparently there's some people not being advertised for the upcoming WWE draft, which has led some to be like, what the heck is going on? There are some interesting omissions from the official graphics for the upcoming WWE 2023 draft, taking place in 1 week on April 28th, and then continuing and concluding on May 1st. WWE has shown a graphic with what looked like the entire current main roster on TV to promote the draft, but it's not actually the entire main roster, as several have been missing. One of those missing, Alexa Bliss, who has not been seen on WWE television since the Royal Rumble back in January. She did do a stint on The Masked Singer, but that's not WWE television. Carmella is absent from the graphic as well. She's been off TV since right before WrestleMania for unknown reasons that is said to be an injury. But, as we saw, was in LA for festivities. Another member of the women's division left off the graphic is Aaliyah. She suffered an injury in September, but recently said that she's been cleared since October and still hasn't been used. Shifting over to the men's side of things and being absent from the graphic is Bray Wyatt. Wyatt is said to be out of action due to a quote-unquote illness that transpired before WrestleMania and hindered him having a match with Bobby Lashley. No Uncle Howdy on the graphic as well, even though some interesting Uncle Howdy stuff this morning. Randy Orton, who's been out of action for almost a year due to injury, has been left off the graphic as well. Other names who have been out of action and not on the graphic: Big E, Robert Roode, Tommaso Ciampa, and R-Truth. Interestingly, AJ Styles, who's said to be out with a broken ankle since September, is on the graphic. Shanky, who's been absent since July of 2022, when his tag partner Jinder Mahal moving to NXT, also not on the graphic. But then, if you look at, again, who is on the graphic, I want to see if I can find it, because I thought I saw Maurice on the graphic, but I'm not 100% sure. I've got the image pulled up here. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. We're going to pull this up in another window and show it on the screen, because I thought I saw Maurice on this. So here's the graphic in question. You see, you've got Cedric, Shelton, Mia, Elias, Dexter, Ali. You've got Dana Brooke, Tamina, Piper Niven, Baron Corbin, Nikki Cross, Tegan Knox, Xia Li, Tozawa, Mansoor, Dupree, Maxine Dupree, Mace, Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza. You got Lacey Evans, you got Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, Emma, Madcap Moss. You've got interesting enough, you got the club all together, or the OC, and then Mia up here with Shelton. That's an interesting one. You've got Dolph, Shotzi, Natty, Karrion Kross, and Scarlett. You've got Boogs. You've got Hit Row. You've got Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and then Maurice and Miz. Miz and Maurice. Yes, she's right here. Miz and Maurice. Why is Maurice on this? Because I guess wherever Miz goes, she'll sometimes show up. You've got Shinsuke Nakamura, Kofi and Woods, no biggie. You got the Viking Raiders with Valhalla. You got Alpha Academy. You got Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. You got Omos and MVP. You've got LA Knight, Matt Riddle, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler. You've got the Brawling Brutes. You got Bronson Reed. You've got Asuka. You got Rey Mysterio. You got the LWO. So Rey and the LWO all together. You got Bobby Lashley, Damage Control. You've got, interestingly here, well, I guess not interestingly, because all the champions are placed at the bottom. But you've got Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. You've got Solo Sikoa and the Usos. You got Judgment Day, Alpha Academy, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Shelton Benjamin, World Tag Team Champions, or Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Intercontinental Champion, Gunta. You got the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. You've got the Undisputed Champion, Roman Reigns. You've got the SmackDown Women's Champion in Rhea Ripley. You got the U.S. Champion in Austin Theory, the Women's Tag Champs in Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. You got Brock Lesnar. You've got Becky Lynch, and you've got Edge. So those are two other interesting names on this list, Edge and Brock Lesnar. So that's everybody that's being advertised for the draft right now. Again, some omissions like Randy Orton. You got other omissions like Bray Wyatt, Carmella, Shanky Jinder Mahal, Tommaso Ciampa, R-Truth. So we'll see who does and doesn't get drafted. We'll have full draft coverage right here on the channel, PWU Unlimited, and we'll keep you guys up to date on all of that. As we move on, got some AEW news to talk about. The first one comes in the form of their new Saturday show, Collision. According to Andrew Zarian of the Matman podcast, he states the collision is going to make them a lot of money. Zarian did state that he is hearing that AEW could be paid about $400,000 to $500,000 an hour for this show, which would mean that roughly in a year they make $52 million off of this show, which I think is in line of what they're making with Dynamite. I don't know how much they make off of Rampage, but this would be the third show they have with Warner Brothers Discovery. And Dave Meltzer also wrote about this in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, stating, AEW only makes what Discovery has been paying for first-run shows as a general rule. $500,000 per hour in general is what Discovery pays for first-run programming. That's $52 million per year, and that's a game-changing financial deal for All Elite Wrestling. Basically, the word is that they should be making what other Discovery Channel shows make, whether that is a show on Discovery Channel like Dirty Jobs, whether that is something on Food Network like Tournament of Champions, or something like on HGTV like Hometown and stuff like that. So we'll see how much they actually make, but it is said that they are going to make, or could make, anywhere from $400,000 to $500,000 an hour, which would be upwards of $52 million a year. As far as the quote unquote brand split that is being talked about for this show, Wrestling Observer noted that as far as this brand split does go, one thing in the works is the Elite, and the BCC would remain as top draws on Wednesday Night Dynamite. So that's an interesting one there as well. I had something. Oh, okay. And now shifting gears slightly, it looks like CM Punk's return could be the debut of this new show. Is being reported. This has come from the Wrestling Observer website, as they write, quote, CM Punk's AEW return may be taking place in the same venue where his career where his career with the promotion first began. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that Punk is currently scheduled to return to AEW at the United Center in Chicago on Saturday, June 17th. Things have yet to be finalized, but the United Center is booked, and an announcement could be made shortly. The June 17th date will likely be the debut of AEW's new weekly show on Saturday nights entitled Collision. Meltzer wrote the following. As things stand right now, the return of CM Punk is scheduled for the 6/17 show at the United Center in Chicago, which, being a Saturday night show, is likely the debut of the new weekly show. The rumor of the new show is named to be Collision, based on a trademark that the company took out back in, I want to say, February, when the talks with Warner Brothers Discovery for a new Saturday show got serious. At press time, everything was not finalized, but the building is booked, and it's likely to be announced very shortly when the Punk deal and the TV deal are finalized. Obviously, with the building deal in place, the TV deal has to either be done or they think it's almost certain it's happening. The decision on Punk returning was made many weeks ago, although there was a snag 2 weeks back, and that has inevitably been worked out. Obviously, being at the United Center, the show will be heavily promoted and have a theme name, which evidently has yet to be decided upon. Meltzer also notes that Punk was, a quote, extremely important in getting this show actually off the ground and another live weekly show basically greenlit and approved. He stated, we do know that he was extremely important in this deal, but whether the deal was incumbent of him, we've heard both ways. One person outside the company has seen correspondence indicating that Warner Brothers Discovery definitely wanted him back, and other things that have happened in recent weeks, very much behind the scenes, have indicated to us Punk being back is, well, very significant in the least. So with that, it all seems like that this show's not being built for Punk to come back. It's not like, oh, well, this is the only way I could bring Punk back because the Elite won't work with them and they won't want him in the locker room on Wednesday, so yeah. But it seems like he's going to be the central focus of this. But the big question is going to be, how does this show work? as far as if there is a brand split. Do they create another world title? Does the TNT title now become like a top tier belt on one brand and the world title is the top tier belt on the other brand? Also, if this brand split is supposed to keep people who don't want to work together apart and out of the same locker rooms, what about pay-per-views when they all have to come together for the same show? Whether that is All In, whether that is All Out, whether that is Double or Nothing, whether that is Forbidden Door, whether that's Full Gear, whether that's Revolution. Still a lot of things to be worked out, and it was stated by PW Torch that the proposed meeting with CM Punk, Tony Khan, and Chris Jericho has not happened yet. And the reason FTR is slated to be here is to, quote-unquote, be mediaries because they get along with both CM Punk and Chris Jericho. Now, speaking of the Elite, as we mentioned, Matt Jackson is dealing with an injury, and it's said that, well, he's working through it and trying to do rehab instead of not having to do surgery. And some were even surprised with how physical he got this past week on Dynamite as well. Dave Meltzer, wrote the following. Matt Jackson did far more than expected, including a series of Northern Light suplexes on the floor in the brawl on Dynamite this week. He was doing both PRP and stem cell treatments on the arm, and the doctors said how great it was looking so quickly after the injury. I'll butcher this word. Platelet-rich plasma, PRP, therapy uses injections of a concentration of the platelets, patient's own platelets, to accelerate the healing of injured tendons, ligaments, and muscles and joints. So Matt Jackson we've heard all along since he suffered this injury that Matt Jackson does not want to undergo surgery, that Matt Jackson wants to try and just heal up himself because surgery is going to mean you're out longer and he doesn't want to be out all that long. We did learn this week after Dynamite, or during Dynamite actually, that Commander is All Elite and that he has been signed full-time to AEW. We knew that there was interest in Commander from both AEW and WWE, and Dave Meltzer wrote the following in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter about, well, Commander picking AEW over WWE. This makes both Jay White and Commander in recent weeks signing with AEW over WWE, which had significant interest in both. Commander really